you hit it?
Yeah. Stays the podium, right?
We have 2 minutes left. Good.
Just remember to check the lights on when it's time.
Yep. And they're fixing phones.
iPhones or Samsung?
They have the button there, work, I can't believe it.
Guys, mics on? Chris, you good? Everyone good? Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call tonight's meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for St. John, July 19th, 2001. If we can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Here.
Brandon Sheeran,
Present.
Nancy Woland,
Here.
Mark LaRue is absent today, and John Kennedy.
Here.
We also have Attorney Adam Decker,
Here.
Councilman Liaison Brian Blazak, and Town Manager Chris Salatas.
Here.
Very good. No minutes are available, so we'll just defer that action. Adam, I don't need to take a roll call. I learned that from the, do I need a motion? I just could defer it?
To defer, you don't need to formally
Okay.
defer the minutes.
Very good.
There's just no action taken because none are available.
Okay. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing for use variance to allow a medical office use, North Shore Health Center, within the US 41 Overlay District at 9825 Avenue. Mr. Weiser, I see you on the, yes. If you could just state name and before we open up the public hearing.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the BZA. My name is Jim Weiser. I'm an attorney with offices at 429 West Lincoln Highway in Cherville, and I represent North Shore Health Centers. The reason for this request, at least the legal reason for this request, and then I'll get into specifically what it is your ordinance prohibits health centers and or medical offices in the overlay district, the US 41 overlay district. Although obviously we all know there's a number there, to the best of my knowledge, they were all in existence prior to the amendment to the ordinance. Although I was mentioning to Adam that I was here in April when a dental clinic was approved. So similarly, that is why we're here. North Shore Health Centers is what's known in the law as a FQHC, which is a federally qualified health center. And it's the largest one in Northwest Indiana. They're actually headquartered in Portage, but they have a number of sites in Lake County as well. And their mission and their purpose is to serve all folks that are in need, regardless of income or whether or not they qualify financially, but to service folks that need assistance. So Straka Van Til's, you may know or not, but recently their leases with Centaur Bank in various of their facilities across Northwest Indiana expired. And Centaur was going in a different direction in terms of their business model, and they didn't renew their lease. So there's vacancies where the Centaur site used to be in all of the Straka Van Til's. And it's a little less than 600 square feet, quite frankly. I think this one's like 557 square feet. And The idea, and they partnered up with North Shore, and the idea is to provide a health clinic that will give basic, very, very basic services, or provide very, very basic services to patients and to those who would choose to use the facility. They currently have begun remodeling and will soon start operations in their facility in Cherville. I'll be in front of Crown Point next week, their BZA for the one on Broadway. And now I'm here tonight for this one. This isn't, just so you understand, I'll try to make some distinctions. This isn't an acute facility. This is a facility for people that want to receive COVID-19 shots, for example, or people that maybe have the flu or have some general malaise that they would like to be treated for or looked at. It's not a facility that would be utilized for patients that are in acute distress. It's not that kind of a facility at all. I guess I think I probably should point out to you that, because there's some questions I think that would naturally be commonly asked, in their research, looking at this in some other locations outside of this area, it appears that, and they believe that their patient load on a daily basis would be average probably 30 to a maximum of 45 patients a day. And that's between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. They aren't open on Sunday. Obviously, since they're located in the Strack, or will be, or could be located in the Stracovent Hills, there's more than adequate parking, and there's plenty of room to accomplish what it is that they want to do. I provided you the layout of that's proposed by Skillman Corporation is doing the work, and that's the proposal that you have before you. It's rather basic and rather simple in terms of what it is that they need to accomplish in order to operate their facility safely. It's their belief that it'll be quite a benefit to the community, because folks who need some checkup somewhere where it's difficult for them to get in to see their family physician, or they can't get into maybe one of the other hospital facilities located somewhere in the area, this will be convenient. It's worked in other areas. North Shore's never done it before, but they believe that it's going to be a real benefit to the, as I said before, to the community. And for that reason, we're seeking the use variance again, because your ordinance, I believe I think the ordinance was amended in November of last year, currently prohibits a medical facility of this type, or any type, quite frankly, within the US 41 corridor in St. John. So that's why we're here. I'm happy to respond to or answer any questions that you may have to help you in your deliberations and determinations. So I appreciate you hearing me out.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Sergio, can you, for the board, 411, it says it's prohibited. Can you just give me, the overlay district, it's blank for medical offices, right? So if it's
Correct.
blank.
Under the schedule of uses, a blank notification equals prohibited.
Prohibited, okay. Very good, okay. Any questions for the board before we open it up to public hearing? So again, 35 to 45, or 30 to 45 people over a 12-hour period?
That's
How many
correct.
staff?
There'll generally be 2 staff there. There could be 3. There'll always be a nurse practitioner. That's who will operate, who will be in charge of the facility. There will be a nurse, and there'll probably be a clerical person. So there should typically be 3 employees.
So I see 2 exam rooms are the max number of rooms.
Correct, it's
so-
2 exam rooms.
Okay. Very good. Board members, any questions before I open it up to the public hearing?
That me.
Hearing none. Sergio, are we good to go to public hearing?
We are.
We are good to go to public hearing. Jim, if you just take a,
Sure.
give me a minute. I'm now going to open up the zoning appeals petition for the medical office use at North Shore Health Center within the US 41 overlay district at 9825 Wicker Avenue inside Strachan Van Tills. Public hearing is now open. Is there any comments from the public? Again, I'll ask any comments from the public. Third time, hearing no comment from the public or no one coming up. Sergio, any correspondence that we received?
We've not received any correspondence on this matter.
With that, I'm going to close the public hearing. Jim, if you want to come back up to the board, there's nothing you have to ask, nothing was talked about. Jim is accurate. 2 months ago, I think it was, we allowed a dentist at next to the St. John Liquor Store. Again, we asked about the parking and facility, so it is something we have allowed in the past before for this type of operation within the US 41 overlay district. Every application is unique and different, so you take it at your own understanding. But with that, if there's no other questions or comments, I will entertain a recommendation. This, again, is a recommendation to the council to approve or deny, or we could defer. And please, on page 2 of your packet, please reference the finding of facts. Again, recommendation. Hearing no recommendation, is there additional questions from the board? Is there a concern?
I'd be concerned about the traffic. I mean, we've got the community care center right across the street. Now we're gonna be adding to what's already a very congested area, so that's just, I'm not opposed to the idea in general, but I just feel like the increase of traffic, I mean, that's obviously gonna be seeing more clients than a bank would.
Okay. Jim, any response to that?
Yeah, with all due respect, it's actually going to be a lot less people than the bank saw. The bank had traffic in there of about 10 to 15 people an hour. We're going to have 30 people in a 12-hour period, at the most 45. If you take the 12-hour period, that's maybe 3 vehicles per hour is what it'll amount to. Possibly, that could be, I'm not going to deny, it could be maybe 4 or 5, but based on their research, it would only be about 3 to 5 vehicles per hour that would be directly related to patients. The rest would be patrons of Strachan Van Tills.
Who did this research?
North Shore Health Centers.
I mean, Drago, you bring up a great point. You know, that was one of my questions that he previously answered. I'm thinking at this type of facility, Strax is going to be the main driver. You go to Strax, and then if North Shore, if there's something you can do at North Shore at the same time, you would do that. Just like the Centaur being in this grocery store, but that's how I'm looking at it. That I don't think people are driving to that, you know, disrespect to North Shore, are going there to North Shore to get a vaccine. They're going to try to get 2 things done at the same time, so. Other board members, questions, concerns, issue for this recommendation? I guess a good thing is we only make a recommendation. We're not the final say. That's going to be on his plate.
So I would like to make a motion to recommend. Is that what I need to do? Or for approval?
No, you make a recommendation to either approve, deny, or defer, and that recommendation will then go to the town council, who would make the final determination.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion to recommend approval for North Shore Health Centers. And then I need to read the
Please.
Okay. This approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The need for the variance will arise from some condition peculiar to the property, which is as follows. The space vacated in the Strachan Van Til by Centier Bank is perfect size for the petitioners to establish a health clinic to serve the needs of the community. The applicant did establish that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought, and the petitioner has established the approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan of the town of St. John.
I have a motion to approve, a recommendation to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There is a second. With that, discussion? Any discussion by the board? Hearing none. Roll call, please, Sergio.
Drago Popovic,
No.
Brendan Sharon,
Yes.
Nancy Woland,
Yes.
and John Kennedy.
Yes. Motion to, recommendation to approve is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next on the agenda, we have a development variance to encroach into the 8-foot side yard along the street with a structured fence. That is one. And then to obstruct sight lines on a corner lot with a triangular area formed by the property lines. This is 11073. Public hearing was held in June. No action was able to take place, so they are here again seeking approval for those two variances. Again, this will be determined by this board. Mr. Richardson, how are you, sir? First, I want to apologize. I was in Florida with my family, and I was not able to make it to the last meeting, so.
It's no problem.
All right. If you could just give, two of us have not been here, if you could just give us a quick rundown, and then I'll probably ask Sergio to give us a 411 as well, so.
Okay, I'm Marvin Richardson, and this is my wife Candace. We live in the Mill Creek subdivision, in between Parrish and Klein on 231. Our home is backed up to the farmland that's not owned by the developer. We have a window well on the side of our home that I'm seeking to cover up with our fence for added security reasons. So the variance, the first part is moving the fence 10 feet forward from the back of the home. The second part is moving it 8 feet away from the home, which would allow us to cover up the window well for the additional safety. There is a 10-foot, I forgot what it's called, mechanical egress or something like that towards the front of the house, but this would be 25 feet away from it. So it's still 20 feet away from where this space would be. Before we just, we had a previous submission that was for more space, and it went back and forth, and we just decided to make it clear about what we were asking for specifically.
Thank you very much, sir. Sergio, can you just give us a quick synopsis of this, please?
Sure. The home was constructed on the south side of the 20-foot building line on the lot of the property owners. And so with the line of sight identified in the ordinance, it remains off of, the building remains off that. However, the petitioner is asking to enclose a window well that is adjacent to that 20-foot building line, which would encroach into the side yard for security purposes, and is requesting to come out 8 feet from the home, leaving a 12-foot setback from the concrete walkway or sidewalk, and then run east to the end of the property line and essentially enclose the rear of the property, the rear yard of the property there. So.
Okay. And there's no issue to the fence to the north or to the east? It's just to this fence to the south, correct?
Correct.
So there's no other variance required other than the ones we're talking about here?
Into this
Okay.
side yard on the south side of the home, because it's a corner lot.
And just since it's a corner lot, what they do is a visual, you take the corner of the property and then you take the building and you go out to the street and it's an angular line of sight. So if once that fence protrudes into that area, it's sort of visualization line of sight issue. So I don't see Summerlin being a very major thoroughfare, east, north, south traffic. It's a residential street. You probably don't see much traffic now. I know you got future development to your east, but it's probably mostly residential, I would say, so. So before us, they were here for the public hearing. We had no comments from the public.
Correct.
No one showed up. So again, what he is seeking is, and Nancy, I did watch the YouTube. I do agree with you. It shouldn't have been in the, and he was looking for it to be along a sidewalk. I appreciate your understanding on moving that back. I didn't like it in the utility easement as well, so he moved it. He wanted it originally 20.9 feet. He moved it back almost 12.9 feet to 8 feet, and then, of course, covering that wheel well. So the development of variance would be that 10 and 8. And then do we need to make two potential motions on then clearance as well, Sergio, or would that 10 and 8 cover both, if whatever the board decides?
I defer to the attorney, but I believe you can make one motion for both. Is for assessment, or should they make two motions?
When you say clearance, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, the section 24-520 vision
Vision
clearance
clearance
triangle.
triangle.
Because once we encroach, if the board decides to allow them to encroach, that then would affect section 24-520 of the vision clearance triangle. So I just want to make sure we're.
I think you could do it either way. I think you could, in the motion, make reference to both variances that are sought, both code sections, so to speak, or you could do them separately. So you have that discretion to do it either separately as two separate motions, or to include both code sections and both variances in the same motion.
Okay. And since this is a corner lot, that's why he has tighter restrictions for his fence, because he is on a corner lot. So he technically isn't supposed to have a fence in his side yard, which is what he's asking for, the 8 feet.
Right.
And then the 10 feet. And then that affects the vision clearance triangle. So what you're showing here now, the 10 feet off to clear the well, and the 8 feet, personally, I do not have an issue with that. I think it's logical to protect that window well. Like you said, it's a security issue. I will defer to the rest of the board. In the past, when a fence came up along a sidewalk, we wanted it to be a couple feet off just in case if people fell from the sidewalk into the fence. He's going to be 12 feet off, 12 plus feet off of it. So I think in my tenure here, it's something that I think we have always sort of, accepted, that type of distance, so. With that, if there's no other questions or comments from the board, Brendan, I know you and I weren't here either, so,
No, I kind of got the gist of it.
okay.
And I'm cool with it. I'd make a motion to approve.
I'm gonna have Adam help.
Yeah, so what I would recommend is that the motion either include reference to both code sections that are set forth in the application, or one of them if you want to do them one at a time. I think that you have discretion to do it either way.
Brendan, before you make that motion, just for comments and questions, could you put the site or the distance, the 10 feet to cover the wheel well and the 8 feet in your motion as a contingency, just so we have clarification of when you make the two motions regarding the two variances, to say 10 feet to cover wheel well and 8 feet off the building line?
Actually have that, since that's what the submittal is.
Is that,
Well, I think if you want to,
I already have that.
if Adam agrees with that, Brendan, then I'm fine
well,
with that.
yeah, I mean, again, I would say that if you want to make a specific reference to, the BZA packet and the Reeves Fence Services estimate, which is dated June 30th of 2021, which sets forth the dimensions of the fence and the location, I think you could incorporate that into the motion and really make that a condition or really a condition of the approval, if you wanted to go that route.
Are you comfortable with what we're suggesting? That would make a motion contingent on this drawing that you submitted to us?
I have no problem.
Okay, very good.
Right, because I think that clearly sets forth the 8 feet from the foundation and the dimensions of the proposal.
All right, I'm sorry for interrupting, Brendan, but
No problem. Well, I'm gonna make a motion of approval based contingent on this BZA submittal and the Reeves fences, proposal and drawing dated 6/30/2021.
can you reference finding of facts? Yeah, reference these.
As the findings of facts, the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, and the general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantial or adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of this property.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
There's a second by Drago. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brandon Sharon,
Yes.
Nancy Woland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. Development of variance has been approved. Thank you.
Do I get like an approval letter or something? I just don't know. We just have to submit to like the,
HOA.
yeah.
Oh, to the HOA. What we could do is, I can send them a memo,
Okay.
with a draft or a brief discussion of the approval.
Okay.
Yeah, I can work on that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bear down.
Thank you.
You got that right.
Wait, what'd he say? I did. Bear down. Is that a?
You should open with that. I would have approved it.
This next guy's a Green Bay Packer fan, by the way. No, I'm kidding. Wait, yeah. Next is the development variance to extend a permitted 6-foot square foot of canopy signage per entrance to 41.5 and 21.5, and to exceed their permitted 30 square foot monument sign to 32 at 9285 Wicker, AKA Sitco. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Sean Ensign with Legacy Sign Group, located at 7933 West Highway 6 in Westville, Indiana. Here again, seeking approval of a 32 square foot, of 32 square foot of sign area for face changes in the existing monument sign. Just purely face changes, taking the old ones out and putting in the new. We previously, and back in June, we're also seeking as mentioned, 41.5 square foot and 21.5 square foot sign request from the BZA. However, after going back and reviewing with the client and brand standards with Sitco, we're here tonight requesting to the board to allow a 17.5 square foot sign with the triangle Sitco logo and the Sitco letters, as well as a 9 square foot set of letters on the other elevation. These letters are actual LED illuminated channel letters. These letters are sized to be 18 inches tall, which allows for maximum readability from 180 lineal feet. Which from the intersection of 93rd and Wicker Avenue is anywhere from 183 feet to 202 feet. Therefore, to allow for adequate visibility on the canopy, and time to allow for a potential customer to turn in and enter the premises, and to keep in line with Sitco brand standards, requesting approval from the board at the proposed appropriate sizes.
All right, thank you, sir. There is already a public hearing on this, so there is no Public hearing, I'm just looking through your email that was sent today.
Yes, and I have hard copies if anybody would like those. I can.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I'm a visual type of guy.
You may have hard copies in the back of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I may have been able to run copies as well, but
Thank you.
New proposed.
So with that, I will open it up to any questions from the boards. I do have a question. Are you changing the canopy itself? Are you replacing the canopy?
No, the canopy's already been basically debranded previously from the Golo, and new digital graphics are already in place. There is a set of vinyl Sitco letters, rather small, that exist on the canopy currently.
Okay.
So we're
and
peeling off the vinyl and replacing with these proposed channel letters.
so the triangular logo, is that going to be on the west side of the canopy, and then the Sitco is going to be on the south side?
Correct.
Because if I recall the canopy at the corner, the smaller linear is on the west side. And then the longer one is on the south side.
You know what? I take that back. You are correct.
So the 34-foot secondary is actually
on-
going to be the primary.
Correct. Yes, on the south elevation.
Okay. Is that going to cause, I mean, you lay these out probably based on the primary and secondary. Is that going to look unique or different than what?
So typically Sitco, they only put the Trimark, the triangle logo on one elevation. They feel that this has the most predominant vantage point, with then just a secondary vantage point on the west elevation with just the letters.
In another example, so you're going from 41.5 square feet on the west side to 17.5.
Correct.
And then you're going from 21.5 square feet on the south side to 9.
To 9.
Is there another location where this dimension of 17.5 and 9 are located in the region? Like if I went to the West Street and Crown Point, is that approximately 21 and 17 and 9, or is that the bigger size?
Oh, those are bigger size. So I do have, so typically Sitco's allow for our original request. So here's a typical Sitco canopy that they install. So like as mentioned, it's usually one of the triangular Trimark logos. And then typically they do put Sitco channel letters on two other elevations. Obviously, knowing that the third elevation probably would have put us well over on this variance request, Sitco requested just two elevations.
Okay. And what's currently there now? Because I agree with your, it's not appropriate in size.
It looks awkward.
Yes.
And so sometimes with signage, right, scale is everything. And yes, I would agree with you, just being a sign guy myself, it looks somewhat awkward to the canopy itself. So up there currently is 12-inch letters.
So this will potentially double, 12-inch, 1.5. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, I
I just want to also make note that the typical Sitco brand standards is displayed on something that looks like about 3 times as large as what we actually have downtown.
what's that?
A
Sorry,
lot
repeat.
longer, yes, longer of
Yeah.
a canopy.
Is there anyone have any questions regarding this variance, I'm going to break them up into two, if everyone's okay with that. The development variance for the canopy. Is there any questions, comments, concerns? I'm sorry, your name, was it Chris?
Sean,
Sean, sorry, Sean.
no worries.
Is there any questions for Sean? And these are all LED lit?
Yes, LED illuminated, just standard face lit channel letters, typical.
That's the west exposure?
So no, the canopy itself will actually be turned like this. The smaller, the 34 feet is on the west and east side.
Right.
This is north and south. So this
Oh, I see.
Sitco will be here, this Sitco will be here.
Okay.
So you're gonna have this 17.3 on the west side and then this 9 square feet on this side. So Sean, as a sign guy, you're comfortable with those, let me rephrase that. Sitco is okay with those sizes at 17 and a half and 9, even though, okay.
That is correct. Yeah, it kind of falls in within their brand standards of a letter set that they do sometimes purchase from their national vendor.
I'm gonna poke the bear. Do they have a lower standard than that, or is that it?
They do not. So sometimes when you get too small in channel letters, they can't be made
And
physically.
then it looks like what's up there now.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. So we have the first variance, unless there's any more questions, I'm sorry for jumping the gun, is to, it would be we'll do the monument later, would be a signage, 24,555 to exceed the permitted 6 square feet of canopy signage per entrance to 17.5 on the western canopy and 9 on the southern canopy. Which would be what, 26.5? Would the motion be, okay, so with that, I will entertain a motion if there's no more questions. Or do you guys want to take the monument sign as well? I guess we could do both. The monument sign, you're going from 30 to 32, and the sure factor, the 2 foot is,
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure where the 30 came from previously. It's a 4x8 sign, and so it could only be 32 square feet.
oh, so the existing sign is 32.
It is for,
And you're just replacing the face with another 32.
exactly, yes. The existing face is coming up. We're not altering the structure by any means. It's the old face is out, the new face is in. They are adding a commodity to this board, the price changer, to add for a discounted, I think, commodity when cash is paid.
So you're just replacing it in kind with adding the digital boards.
Correct.
Okay. All right, what's the pleasure of the board? Sergio, just go back to the monument sign, I'm sorry. Is it just because our ordinance is 30, so
Our
now that
ordinance
he's
reads
gonna
30.
change the face, it
Correct.
has to be 32?
Correct. I didn't want to sign off on a permit that went against our ordinance.
Okay.
Ordinance reads 30 square feet.
Even though it's not like a grandfather already in, non-conforming?
It's,
that he could
they're
just replace
replacing
it?
the entire face, so they're not modifying it, it's just a full face replacement, so.
Okay. And when making the motion, please reference the finding of facts, please. Hearing no motion, questions, comments, concerns? I personally prefer something other than what's up there now. Tell you that. So there's no other sign, this is as small as they get. This is, if Sitco doesn't get this, they're gonna leave what's up there.
Yes.
Do you guys wanna take the monument sign first and we consider the canopy? I went to the Crown Point, or I Google Earth Crown Point. If what you're saying in Crown Point is a standard 41 and a half and 21 and a half, I get it. It's that, I looked at that one because the size of the canopy, I think is comparable to what's on 93rd. So, but again, you know, we're trying, there's ordinance in place for us to
Certainly.
follow.
The motion
So-
just needs to be made for the canopy, right? Not for the other piece part, because it's not changing.
I'm sorry, Nancy?
I said the motion just needs to be made for the canopy?
You
or
can
does
make-
it need-
You can make them for both. You can make it for the canopy and you can make it for the sign in one motion. But please, if, Nancy, if you're making that motion, please reference
I am.
the.
I would like to make a motion to approve to the Legacy Sign Group, their canopy and monument revisions, adjustments, but whichever word you like to use. The approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, and that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in result in practical difficulties in the use of this property.
So I have a motion to approve the variance for the canopy to exceed 6 square foot to 17.5 on the west side and 9 feet on the south. Is that correct, Nancy?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a motion approved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, discussion. Adam, is that good as a motion? I just want to make sure we're dotting our i's, crossing our t's. We got the square footage in there. Do you want it
I believe so. The only thing I noticed when Nancy was reading through the findings, I think she intended to mean for item 3 that strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Nancy, did you hear that?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
correct.
All right, can you redo your motion, just clarifying point number 3?
Okay. The print is a little small, so bear with me. Okay. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will not,
No.
correct?
No,
No,
will.
will result, I thought I said will the first time. Will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Brendan, are you good with that? You seconded, are you good with that change?
I'm cool again.
Cool, all right. Discussion? We got the square footage. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sharon,
Yes.
Nancy Woland,
Yes.
and John Kennedy.
Yes, now we have to make a motion, everyone, regarding the monument sign, 24555, to exceed the permanent 30-square-foot monument sign to 32. If I can get a motion, please reference the finding of facts.
I make a motion to approve the 13 square feet where 30 is allowed. Approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I got a motion to approve. Is there a second? I got a
I will
sec.
second it.
Brendan beat you on that one. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sharon,
Yes.
Nancy Woland,
Yes.
and John Kennedy.
Yes, motion to approve. Next, public comment? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye.
I'm telling you one thing, if you admitted to a Green Bay fan, shit could've got weird.